Hi, and welcome to this new little review of the Smode user interface in the Smode version 9.3.6. So I will show how to change the user interface by first creating a new composition. So how it works, you see in every different windows that you have in Smode, you have two icons, one on the top left, and one on the top right. And that's those two icons, those two functions that we will review today. The one on the left allow to choose different windows. So for instance, here I'm in my viewport. I can choose to put my media directories, same as here, or I can choose to put my elementary, same as here, etc., etc. So if you do not see this little icon on the right, like on the elementary, for instance, then you just have to put your mouse over of the top bar and do a mouse wheel scroll, or you can on the trackpad. For me, it's 2 fingers, for instance, but that's the way it works. And then you will access these little windows on the right. So what does this little window on the right do? It allows to split whatever windows in vertical, or if I do it again in horizontal. So you can have like a set of different windows like that. And of course, if you go to the top left time, you can change by putting whatever editor you want to put into it. So for instance, this can be convenient. Let's remove this one. To have like two viewports in the same space. For instance, let's create here box and a checkerboard. Okay, so and let's create a little camera. All right. So this allows, for instance, to have one viewport that will be locked on whatever content I need to see, and the other one that will just show the main background, or on the other way, one locked on the main composition, and one other that I will use freely to review whatever I want to review. And then those windows, if I go to the next one, you can add a tab. So adding a tab, it allows to have like, for instance, a different set of viewports. So let's take on the checkerboard, and on this one, the box. Okay. Now I have my viewport for the checkerboard, my viewport for the box, and my main viewport that allow me to see what is happening. For instance, poof. So it allows to do that, and the tabs are very useful. For instance, in the timeline, if you lose some of your tab, you can always add them here to have like, for instance, your timeline, your function editor, your pipeline editor, and whatever. And if you want to add a tab when you already have a tab set, you see here that I do not have anymore add tab. I only have duplicate tab. And that's what we are going to use to duplicate a tab to then put whatever we want. What you can do also is to right click on any tab to either remove a tab, or again, if you want to add a new tab, you have to duplicate it and then put whatever you want inside. So let's remove this tab. And then the next option that is interesting is here. You can pop out the window. So you see here, I popped out my current window, and I can then place it wherever I want on whatever screen I want. Put media directory, or put the timeline, so you can have a huge timeline on your next screen, for instance. So this is most useful, and let's remove this one. So that's basically how you can create your own viewport. And last, one useful button also that I used a lot during this tutorial, but I did not explain, is of course this one that allows to lock your viewport on whatever content it is. For instance, let's here change this tab, function editor, by parameter editor. Yeah, so now if I click on a different element, you see that I have the same thing that will appear on my two parameter editor. But if I want to copy a value, a parameter from this one to this one, or I don't know, see my two parameters on the same time, so what I can do is go on my gradient, lock it, and then if I click on any other tab, then this will display will update the information. So that's what the lock button is for. Okay, so that concludes this tutorial. Just as a note, maybe you can try at home. For me, it doesn't work. It used to work, but I don't know, I have some issue. You should be able, when you create your own custom workspace, whatever it is, for instance, for me, what I like to do is to remove those two tabs here, those two windows here, and put them on the next window. And what I like to do in my media directory window is to be organized like that, with file preview and media directory. So I like to have this kind of organization, and let's rename this tab. Right click, rename. So media. Okay. And you should be able to save your workspace by doing a right click, export workspace, and save it here. And once you save a workspace, you should be able to access it from one of those buttons here. So it will take the name of what you choose. But for me, when I do that, it says me that I do not have the authorization, and I didn't manage to do it. So I don't know if there's something on my computer or is some hidden option into Smode, but you can try that at home. I will not cover that in this tutorial yet. Okay, see you next time.